So, ladies and gentlemen, we got 211 people. So, okay. We're gonna start. We're gonna start, boys. Okay. So, this lecture is gonna be about porn. No BS guide. Yes, it's being recorded. This is the No BS guide to porn, how to quit it. And we're literally gonna talk no BS. Like, if you want me to sugarcoat this, it's not gonna happen. If you want someone to talk about this, like, it's okay, like, whatever, then this lecture is not for you. Like, I'm just dropping value, boys, and we're about to get real. We're about to talk about a few things. So first, we're going to touch about a little bit about the science about it. I really want to get into that. One, it's interesting. Two, the more you know about it, I think it's going to help you. But that's not all that we're going to talk about. We're not only going to dive deep into the science. We're going to talk about the easy peasy method, actually, and other ways to quit. All right, boys. So let's get started. One of the important things is that you have to understand in self-improvement that it's really looked over. Like, this addiction is looked over. People start with, like, I'm not saying all the other habits aren't important. Exercise, meditation, they are. But how can you accomplish other things? How can you be as productive? How can you use your energy, your masculine energy, in other things in life when you're still regularly watching porn? If you don't have this habit down, the habit of not doing or not watching it, then you really need to get on top of yourself. And I'm gonna help you. Like, I know how it feels, and so we're gonna dive deep into this. So one thing that's scary is that porn is almost widely accepted today, right? It's a silent killer, and it's scary. If you guys go right now and go to Google, and I want you to Google porn benefits. So I did that many times, but literally search up porn benefits. Don't search up porn. Search up porn benefits, and you're gonna see a lot of stuff that is very pro porn. Don't do it if you don't have to. But I'm just saying, like, you'll see a lot of things that's just like pro porn. Oh, it's gonna help you and your partner. Oh, it's gonna help you see how the real thing is. It's very educational. It can help you. It can help you in life. It can help you sleep better. What are other things you guys heard? I mean, start typing away. Like, yeah, it's all bullshit. It's gonna better your mood, boys. And I've been there. The reason I know the positive is because I wanted to search it up, because I was like, my lizard brain one day was like, oh, maybe it's actually fine. So I've seen these articles like a few times. I didn't go to the rabbit hole, but it's just crazy how many benefits you see online. And that's part of the thing that we're going to get to. That, the media and everything online is just not on your side. It's not on your side. They don't understand. They don't understand that there's zero benefits. Literally, there are zero benefits. We're going to get into that. And actually, a little bit of a foreshadow, but that is a lot about the easy peasy method. But I digress. So in the 1960s, big corporations, they told you, not you, but the last generation, that smoking was good, actually. So it's been known that smoking actually was almost had the same effect, right, as what's happening now with porn. People were saying, I mean, at least most of the people were saying, "Oh, it's good. Like there are benefits." Yeah, all those propaganda. You've seen that before, and only later, like years later, did people find out that they have cancer or that this was bad for them. Not saying you're going to get cancer from watching porn, but you know what I'm trying to say here. You know the analogy I'm trying to give you is that right now, like even though you have this group and a lot of YouTubers I'll tell you, don't fap, don't watch porn. On the other side of the spectrum, you have these articles. You have most people, you know, thinking it's normal. Most people just telling you it's fine. Like most people actually think it's normal. Like you right here in this group, you know, honestly be grateful that you know it's, and I hope you do know that porn is not good for you. And that's something to be grateful for because most of the people are like, oh, it's fine. I do it with my wife every other night, or I do it every other day. It's my nighttime routine. And listen, I'm not judging you right now if you are in that rabbit hole and you're struggling, but just know that I think it's something to be grateful for that you actually have this insight and you know that it's bad for you. Yes, it's common. It's very common. And so people are just slowly going to realize, boys, that it's like down the line, like now maybe like a 12-year-old has no clue. He's going to be 32 and he's going to realize 20 years down the line that like this was not good for him. He hasn't been able to accomplish anything in his life, mostly due to porn. I said, if you don't have this habit down of not watching porn, then it's very hard to do anything else. It's very hard to be productive. But again, I'm not judging you if you currently have this. I just want to help you guys. I really want to help you guys. I'm gonna actually take some question breaks, but not now. We're gonna take some question breaks in the middle. So, boys, we're gonna talk a little bit about. I'm not gonna lie. This lecture is gonna be value filled. Like, if you're listening right now, I'm happy that you're listening because, damn, you're gonna get a lot of value. We're only getting started, boys. I'm looking. I printed out some of the stuff I'm gonna talk about. A lot of stuff. So, we're gonna talk about delayed gratification versus instant. You heard of these terms many times. So porn, in terms of porn, you have two options. You have the delayed gratification route and the instant, right? So what is the delayed gratification route? Pretty obvious, right? You could just work hard on yourself, improve yourself, not watch porn, but get enough value so actual real women, real partners can find you attractive. You're gonna just work on yourself. The other part of instant gratification, which is easy, anyone can choose it, is you're just giving up. You choose to watch porn, and your brain doesn't know the difference. We're gonna get into the brain part, but it doesn't know the difference. It tells you you're the man. It tells you you're amazing because you're getting so many women, and that's it. Like there's nothing else. So you're gonna keep watching most likely, and your brain's telling you that you're the shit, and you're chasing the comfort route. You're chasing the easy route in life. And how else do you think other things in your life are going to be? Like, you think you're going to have do you actually think you're going to have a successful business? Do you think you can be on top of your shit? What would Adonis do? That's a question that you can ask yourself. So never choose the easy route in life. Always chase discomfort. Always. I can't stress this enough. So let's get a little bit into the science of this. I found it really interesting. I'm sure you guys will as well. Actually, a very recommended book is Your Brain on Porn. This is where I learned most of these things and where I suggest you to look at. They have a PDF online as well. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Coolidge Effect. You might have heard about this. It's very common in respect to porn addiction. So the Coolidge Effect, it was an experiment. They put a rat in a cage, and they basically put a female in there as well. So a male rat and a female rat. And so after a few times, they had sex, and the rat eventually got tired. The male rat eventually got tired of the female. So this is actually also, humans are also prone to the Coolidge effect, right? Where we get used to a certain mate. And so when a new mate is introduced, then dopamine levels spike. And why is this dangerous? This is dangerous because it relates back to novelty. It relates back to porn addiction. And so mammals have and are prone to the Coolidge effect. And what does it do? It fulfills the need for mating diversity, right? If you have more partners, then you're increasing the chances of your offspring surviving, right? If you have sex with 10,000 partners versus one, it's favorable for mankind. So porn literally takes advantage of the Coolidge effect. There are zero competitions. There's zero rejection, no challenge. Because any man could be with multiple women in 10 minutes. So your brain is literally telling you, like, you're the shit because you're with a lot of women in like 10 minutes. And yeah, it relates back to the Coolidge effect. It's very scary when you think about it. That's why it's so enticing, because we see so many partners in like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It's called the Coolidge effect. You can Google it. It's very known and spoken about in terms of porn addiction. So let's do a little bit of introduction to dopamine. I think it's very important to talk about it. Many people just think they know about it, or they just tell you dopamine bad, dopamine X. But let's actually dive deep into it, okay? So dopamine is a neurotransmitter. It takes place in the reward circuitry in your brain, a location in your brain. So in that area called the reward circuitry, this is where you're experiencing pleasure, cravings, or you can also get addicted there. So it's a very ancient kind of place in our brain. It basically rewards you for the things that help you to survive. Things that help you to survive and pass on your genes. So that's the goal of the reward circuitry. And so there's natural reinforcers for the brain. So things that elevate dopamine naturally. So what are they? Anyone has an idea? What naturally elevates dopamine levels? Just guesses. Oh shit. Someone said me. Damn, bro. Right. So obviously the discomfort stuff are going to help you increase dopamine. That's a good sign. But the natural reinforcers, so some of them mentioned are, for example, food. So someone said sugars or food. So high calorie foods are natural reinforcers. Why? Because you're going to survive if you eat a lot of sugar or high calorie foods. The guy was right when he said sugars. So food, sex, which is obvious, and novelty, all which are found in porn. So sex and novelty, and friendship and love. So these are the natural reinforcers that increase dopamine. And so the bigger the dopamine hit, the less likely your brain is gonna ignore it. Dopamine just tells your brain where to put its attention at. It doesn't know the difference between porn or real life. It just tells you dopamine, good. Keep doing it. Keep watching it. It doesn't know the difference. And so, scary enough, the biggest natural dopamine hit in the reward circuitry is sexual stimulation. So, sex, anything relating to sex, orgasm. And it's scary because porn takes advantage of this. And they know that you're going to get the biggest natural reinforcer hit from porn. And so they take advantage of this. They take advantage of this. It's not like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Yeah, we're going to talk about the easy peasy method. They know what they're doing, bro. And even worse, dopamine drives up with anticipation. So you're searching for videos. Another thing that is scary is novelty. So we're going to talk a little bit about novelty. And novelty is found all over porn. So new partners, new videos, new genres, new everything. Porn is all about new. And so dopamine surges for novelty. So, for example, when was the last time you got like a new phone or like a new computer and immediately you were like very excited and then the excitement wears off? So, you know what I'm talking about. So, that's novelty. That's basically your brain telling you novelty is good. And so, the same thing is happening on a crazy scale with porn. An interesting study that is talked about is that Australians, they did a study and they displayed to people the same porn video 18 times. And so on the 19th time they found out that so they did it 18 times and they found out that the person slowly his sexual arousal slowly went down. I think they measured it as like dick size or something. But basically they literally found out that over time the man's sexual arousal went down until the 19th time when they put a new video. So more novelty. Think a new partner or a new video. So that's again the Coolidge Effect in the works here. And so immediately 19 time new video, dopamine increased like crazy. And why is it so scary? Because there's so much novelty available. There's an infinite amount of novelty on these sites. Novel women everywhere. Your brain doesn't know the difference again. It doesn't know the difference between real women and on the pixels. It tells you you're the man, like you're the shit because you're watching a lot of women. I talked in my digital minimalism lecture. Feel free to watch that as well on my channel. But I talked about how, social media and sites like Facebook, Instagram, they're engineered to, get you hooked, right? Yeah, boy, stop spurging out in the chat. All right, so these sites, so I mentioned social media, right? All these people behind it are literally influencing you. They want you addicted. So same here. Without a doubt, these websites are engineered for you to be addicted to. They're engineered specifically for novelty. They know that novelty is going to spike your dopamine levels. So, like the homepage, everything is engineered for novelty, more genres. Jump to the next video, jump here, jump there, more women. Something that was mentioned in the book was that you're experiencing more women than our ancestors did in a lifetime. Think about that. A 12-year-old could literally experience more women than his grandma or grandpa. I meant to say grandpa experience in his whole life. So that's kind of crazy when you think about it. His grandma gets more women. Boys, don't judge the grandma. Do we have any questions, though? I'll ask any questions if we have real questions. Coolidge Effect is bad because porn is exaggerating it, right? So it's cool, the Coolidge Effect on steroids, because you're literally experiencing, as I said, more women than you can ever experience in your lifetime, and it gets you on that rabbit hole. Someone asked, I think people are asking like if masturbating without porn is not that bad, or imagination. Obviously, it's much better if you're doing that. You're on a good route because you're almost like progressively deloading. So if you can do that, that's a good start. Yeah, is porn also designed to target younger audience? So it actually is, and the biggest issue is that younger people, their brains are more adaptive, so they're more malleable, and that's scary because you're more affected and more likely to be addicted. And so especially at those years, like 11, 12, when your brain is like forming and still changing constantly, it's creating new connections every day. That's where you're going to get more hooked. So actually, if an 11-year-old, 12-year-old starts watching at that age versus a 20, 25-year-old, the 11-year-old is more likely to get addicted. Yeah, you're right, Devo. Devo asked, I heard porn also changes your interests to be even more degenerate and have degenerate fetishes such as rape, etc. That's true because um, your dopamine levels are basically getting You're basically getting used to the same dopamine level, so you need a greater hit of dopamine in the future. So your brain is like kind of used to what you watched, and so you need a greater hit of dopamine, and that's why you're gonna watch more hardcore genres, even though you don't like it or you don't feel like it's normal. You don't feel like it's something that you would do, and that's the scary part. Like it doesn't align with your interests, doesn't align with who you are, but you might still do it. All right, let's continue. We're gonna get to more questions soon. Don't worry if I didn't answer your question. So scientists they call what's happening now or porn as a supernormal stimulus. Supernormal stimulus. There has never been a time where scientists found that there's something that could increase dopamine so high for such a long period. And it's so dangerous. And we're going to get into why porn is so dangerous. So, dopamine, I said it, Ube, I said that scientists call porn a supernormal stimulus. Supernormal. And so, dopamine, what you have to know is that dopamine also increases for other emotions, all which are found in porn. So, anxiety, right? You're anxious because you're doing it when you shouldn't do, or you're doing it in solitude in your home or locked in the bathroom, whatever. Seeking and searching, and surprise and shock. So all these emotions drive your addiction even further, increases dopamine even further. So surprise and shock is found everywhere. It's found everywhere in porn. Seeking and searching is mostly, what people do, right? You're seeking and searching for the next thing, the video that you're gonna, you know, touch your dick to. And yeah, I mentioned anxiety. The issue with porn is that it's basically too good. And your brain sees that as top priority because it's going to trigger the most amount of dopamine. More than real life things, more than meditation, more than working out, more than a conversation with your mom. It's going to basically give you the most amount of dopamine. Why would you want to be with a real partner if porn is giving you the most amount of dopamine? And so in the past, 20, 30 years ago, people had, magazines or static images, and porn doesn't even compare with that. It doesn't even compare. So this is why it's such a dangerous era we live in. It's pretty new, we don't have too much research and studies about it, and most of what you see online is pro porn, and that's scary. So let's talk a little bit about why porn is so dangerous. And I mentioned most of these, but I want to reiterate. So first of all, there's abundant novelty I mentioned. Basically, you could sleep with as many women as possible, and your brain is telling you you're the shit. Novelty and new things. Yeah, sure, we could talk about that Z90N. Just give me 1 second. And so another reason porn is so dangerous is we can easily overconsume it, right? So you can't overconsume food. At a certain point, your body's going to be like, come on, like, I'm full. At a certain point, right? Yeah, you can eat sugars, which are going to make you feel less full, but you can easily overconsume porn. And that's the scary part. There are no limits physically to porn consumption. You could be keeping your dopamine levels at an insanely high level for such a long time. And our brains are not meant for that. They never been meant for that. Like it's in the evolution of mankind, your brain never has been on such a high level for such a high time, such a long time. And we're gonna get into the effects of your brain and this concept. What happens when your dopamine levels are so high for such a long time? So the only real physical limit of porn, of watching porn, is the need to sleep and the need to go to the bathroom. So what are most people doing in most Jeffreys doing? They're doing it all day. They're literally doing it all day and just going to the bathroom, sleeping, continuing. Yeah, eat, jack off, shit, sleep, repeat. Yeah, we can also talk about that. We're talking about that as well, Chimus. Actually, I have a really good method for that. And another reason porn is so dangerous is it's more available than ever before. Just literally a few keystrokes away. It could take you, what, 5 seconds to get there? It's available 24/7 for free. You don't have to pay. It's private, so no one knows about your addiction. No, your parents don't have to know. People don't know you're addicted. People know when there's a drug addict. People know when you're addicted to alcohol. Like they could probably see you, like you're suffering, your eyes or whatever are red, but people are not going to notice if you're a porn addict. It's going to go under the radar, and that's why it's so scary. Guys, like most of the people you see in your school are doing this every single day, 5 times a day. And you can't even know. There's no way to know. And that's why it's so scary. You can keep your dopamine levels at an insanely high rate for such a long time. In the history of mankind, it's never been so easy to get that next fix or that next woman. Another reason it's so bad is because your brain just registers it as extremely valuable and irresistible. It's basically the equivalent of sex, as I mentioned, and our reward circuitry is just telling you this is irresistible. You have to keep doing this. You have to keep doing this. Boys, like think about it. Like drugs, even cocaine, you need to like get out of your way to buy. You need to like whatever, get a dealer. I don't know. But here you're just a few keystrokes away. It's so much easier. You could be under your sheets with your little headphones and no one will actually know. Your brain doesn't care that it's not real. All it cares about is dopamine good, so we're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep doing it. So what happens to the brain when we have this unlimited access to porn or this super stimulating reward that I talked to you about? Oh yeah, let's talk about that. Thanks for reminding me. Someone asked, what do you think will happen when the metaverse becomes more popular? Boys, I think that's scary. Like, think about it. People are not, it's going to be even easier to access porn and feel like you're in the real world. And you're going to feel like you're with a real woman more than ever. I told you right now, your brain thinks that it's real. So, what is your brain going to think when you're in this 3D world? Or this 3D metaverse woman just called you to go to her house? Bro, I don't know. Like, that could happen. It's so fucking scary, and it's just I'm telling you, people are working on it now, and obviously people are working on it now, and they know people are gonna get addicted. They know this is gonna make millions, not even more. They're after the money, and they're after your soul and your time. Boys, you have to stay away from that. Like whenever that comes, it's gonna be so bad. Like people are not gonna exit out of their house. Why? Because this is the best thing ever. Like your brain registered it as the most important thing. And now it's in this world that is 3D, whatever, 4D, and you're seeing a woman and she looks real. And so why would I go meditate? Why would I go work out? Like why the fuck would I go work out if I could just open my iPhone, whatever, I don't know where the metaverse is going to be on, put on my goggles and start watching this woman that's right in front of my bed. Whatever, Jessica. Boys, it's scary and it's gonna happen. Like what I'm saying is it's inevitable and you can't stop it. Yeah, VR porn is one thing, but then we're gonna reach metaverse porn, and then you can interact with women and they could be more real. And it's just scary. Boys, what do you think? Type in the comments what you think about it. Mark Zuckerberg wants to know my location. Boys, fuck Mark. Sex robots, yeah, also scary. They're also pretty scary. Do you think there's a line where porn gets so realistic? What do you mean, swaggy boy? Yeah, boys, it's your duty. Like I'm telling you, teach people what I'm teaching. Like I'm teaching this, I want you to pass it on because it's only gonna get worse. I'm not trying to be, depressing or have a negative viewpoint. Boys, I'm like the most positive person, but I'm just trying to give you light and I want you guys to be prepared. Yeah, so people Kuda7 said something about distraction. So people today are distracting themselves with not only porn, but social media, all these instant gratification. It's gonna get even more bad. Like people are gonna distract themselves from the real world more than ever. You're not gonna talk to your mom. You're not gonna talk to a real woman, whatever, if you have unlimited access to the metaverse porn. Yes, times are taking a dark turn, but I don't want you guys to be like, this is not a reason to like give up or anything, right? Like we could talk about this shit for years, but this should motivate you. Honestly, this should motivate you because you're not gonna fall to the rabbit hole. All Might said last time when I actually had sex, I had to masturbate for the first time. She couldn't make me do it. So that's definitely because of porn. And I'll talk actually about that and like erectile dysfunction and how it works with real women. But I believe that has to do with porn addiction. And most people tell you otherwise. Like you'll probably not you, but people will go to the doctor and be like, "Oh, I can't get over this. I have depression. I have X. I have Y." But the doctor's not gonna ask you, "Do you watch porn?" Boys, that's why it's so like scary. Like real professionals, doctors might not even believe in porn addiction. And actually most don't. Most are like, "Oh, I deal with my wife every other day." So don't expect your doctor or people in the world to have more knowledge than you about this. Like most of the people don't know what I'm teaching you right now about porn. Like most of the people you teach them this, they're like, "What? Like really? Like is it actually that bad?" No, it can't be. Like it's fine. Like shut up, bro. Most of the people are not even going to believe you. So don't even try to convince people unless they ask for it. Yeah, most doctors will tell you it is not bad, and it's scary in the book. Like I saw accounts of people going to their doctors, and the doctors were just saying no, like it's not that. Like porn is good. Like porn is good. And so the guy just quit porn, and he found that all his problems went away. Like he had depression, he had erectile dysfunction, his dick couldn't go up, he couldn't have sex. He quit porn, everything over a few months got better. So let's keep going. What happens to the brain when you have unlimited access to porn? So your brain is literally going to change physically. Brains are plastic, they're malleable. You guys ever heard of neuroplasticity? This is exactly where it's going to come in. Your brain is going to change, and for the worst. Like it's going to protect itself against what? Against this excessive dopamine. Your brain is not meant for excessive dopamine levels. That's the biggest pinpoint that I want you to understand is that never in years has your brain been ready for this amount of dopamine. Never. And so your brain is gradually going to adapt. It's going to adapt to that overstimulation. And what does that mean? You're going to have decreased sensitivity to dopamine. You're going to need even a bigger hit next time you watch porn. You're going to switch to a even crazier genre that you don't even believe in. It's not in your values, it's not in your ethics, whatever. But you're going to watch something crazy because you can't get the same amount of dopamine as before. So that's where we talk about people watching crazy genres, or someone mentioned before watching, rape or something crazy. Thanks for the comments, Ube. So real sex is not gonna match to real porn or to the porn you're watching, to the genres you're watching. Your brain is gonna adapt, and those real life things, like a conversation, like working out, are not gonna seem that interesting. So why do you think most porn people or most people that watch porn don't have a life, or they're not doing any shit with their life? Yeah, boys, this is not bro science. Thanks, Dale. I'm like taking this straight from the book. I'm not making this shit up. Like this is studies that I've looked at, and boys, I'm just out here to help you. But I was saying real things are not gonna entice you anymore. Bro, we're gonna get to bro science too. Don't worry, bro. We're gonna get to that. So yeah, most people don't have an interest in anything else. They don't have goals because they're watching so much porn. It literally is changing your brain. Like you look at a person that is addicted to porn and you compare his brain to a person who never watched it, and oh, you're gonna see a lot of differences. The guy that watched porn is gonna have less gray matter, and gray matter is good for you. Papa Duck, that's a good question. It could be. I haven't really seen anything about that, so I don't want to make any presumptions or assumptions, but I want to believe that's true. Someone said, I told my parents I want to quit porn and they laughed. What does that make you think of the entire porn addiction scheme in the world? They're even the ones who got me into porn intentionally. Yeah, your parents are not going to be the source to help you. And it's scary that even your parents are pushing this. They don't understand. And don't expect them to understand. Don't say the guy who watches porn, just say addict. What? Let's see. I'm reading your thing, Uzman. I'm more likely to read it if you tag me, but don't just randomly tag me. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Uzman. How do I convince my friends to quit porn? Boys, don't worry about your friends. Just focus on yourself at this point and get that addiction out of the way. Like you can't convince them. You understand? They're gonna be like this guy's parents, like before. They're gonna be like, oh no, it's good for you. Shut up, bro. Shut up, bro. I like my hub, whatever. Alf, I think it does. But if you're doing it with a real woman, like it's not bad unless you're going on these like random sites and talking to like a guy dressed like saying he's a woman, whatever, talking like sexting you. But like if you're talking to a real woman, like that's fine. How to help my friends? Honestly, just send him this lecture or send him the book, Your Brain on Porn, and maybe it'll just convince them. But we're gonna talk about how to quit and such like that. So we get there. Don't worry. Someone asked, "Can you explain gray matter?" Yeah, you need gray matter to learn. You need gray matter to get new memories and just be a normal human being. And the less gray matter that you have, the less ability you have to learn new things. And it's gonna affect you. Like you're less likely to learn new things if you're literally losing an area of your brain to porn. I think porn is way more harmful than video games because it hurts that natural reinforcer, right? The one of the natural reinforcers I said is sex. So it pinpoints that. Actually, video games also decrease the amount of gray matter that you have in your brain. I have a video of that on my channel. Yeah, so let's talk about Reflex's point. Okay. So Reflex said, where's Reflex? Can our body generate gray matter after we quit porn? So yes, and let's talk about that. So brain plasticity and rewiring is also happening the other way around. So I said the negatives, right? Your brain's gonna rewire for the worse if you watch porn. And so the second you quit, it's gonna be the other way around. It's gonna take a few months, but sooner or later you're gonna find real life things valuable. You're gonna find real women valuable. Your brain is gonna recover from that porn usage. Leo, I respect your opinion, but I disagree. No hurt feelings though. When I don't watch porn for a feeling, I feel for a week, I feel like I wasted part of my life or I'm missing out. So we're gonna talk about that actually. I'm not gonna forget your point, boom chick. It's actually what the easy peasy method talks about. Yeah, the first article I found says video games raise. Okay, there's a video on my channel about that, I believe. Boy, subscribe to my channel if you haven't. If I'm dropping insane amount of value on you and you want to get more value, look on the right. I have my channel link. Don't forget to subscribe, boys. And we're gonna keep going. I'm dropping self-improvement content left and right. Ronan, no, I haven't. And we're gonna get there. I'm telling you, this is a long lecture, but I really want to drop the science and a little bit of that before. But I want to get there. Like I'm trying to get there. So I'm gonna not ask any. I'm not gonna answer any more questions, and we're gonna keep going. So what happens if you're addicted to porn? I mentioned that scientists found a correlation of reduced gray matter the more time you spent per week watching porn. What does this mean? It means that you have fewer nerve connections to learn new things, to make new memories and new connections in your brain. So someone mentioned something about the willpower, or someone mentioned the amygdala. So I want to touch on that as well, because what porn does, it literally weakens that connection between your logical brain, or the logical part of your brain, which is known as the prefrontal cortex, and the amygdala, or the reward circuitry area of your brain. That's where you get addicted to porn. So what does this do? It gives you less control. And this leads people on a rabbit hole. It leads people to other bad behaviors. Why? Because your willpower is increased. You're more likely to do drugs. You're more likely to do other bad habits. And so what happens over time is desensitization. And that's important. I want to get to that before we start talking about how to quit it. This is one of my last points. I promise we're going to talk about quitting and such. But desensitization is basically your brain is used to the amount of pleasure. And so at a certain point, it's going to protect itself, like I mentioned. And I mentioned before, shock, surprise, and anxiety jack up your dopamine levels. And so I mentioned this a little bit before, but just touching a little bit more about it, you're going to start watching like insane shit. And the more anxious you are, the more surprising the genre is, the more likely you're going to watch it. There's a quote in the book that I told you about. Again, very recommended. It's called Your Brain on Porn. And I'm going to read it. Thank you, Elwick. I appreciate everyone who subscribed to my channel. I'm trying to drop self-improvement content, really trying to help you boys out. And I'm serious about this. So if you want to be, again, on my ride and you want to get more value and more info, feel free to subscribe. Like, boys, I'm serious about self-improvement and helping others. So there's a quote in the book. It says, as any good mammal would, viewers attempt to spread their genes far and wide, but there's no end to a porn viewer's mating season. He can keep going indefinitely by pumping up his dopamine via anticipation as he surfs, viewing novelty, material that violates his expectations, and driving for sexual arousal, the natural reward that releases the high surges of dopamine. So evolution has literally not prepared us for this nonstop stimulation of porn and dopamine. So, boys, enough of that. I know that was a lot of science. That was like an hour of just introduction, but I think that was important. Like, I hope that helped to give you an introduction instead of porn bad. I wanted to get into it to actually explain it to you. So I hope that helps. Before we talk about quitting, someone mentioned erectile dysfunction or not being able to get your dick hard, right? I'm going to talk about that because you need enough dopamine to keep an erection, surprisingly enough. And so dopamine spikes when something is better than expected, right? So you're watching like a new film, whatever, porn video, and it's better than expected. But the second that your expectations aren't met, then dopamine drops. And what do you think happens with a real woman if you're addicted to porn? Your dopamine levels are going to drop. Real women are not going to be as interesting, and erectile dysfunction happens. You need enough dopamine to actually get that dick hard, right? And yeah, if you quit it, it's gonna reverse all that. I told you, your brain is malleable. Your brain could still change. It's never late. Boys, I'm telling you, like, don't think if you're addicted, don't think it's the end of the world. You can revert that process. Your brain is gonna be on your side. So let's talk about quitting. And I also want to talk about, the easy peasy method, my kind of methods, ideas, and I'll listen to questions as well. And we're just going to talk about quitting now. Like, literally, that's going to be the lecture. And yeah, let's go, boys. So, the biggest thing that the easy peasy method talks about is that you're brainwashed. And that's actually the easy peasy method talks about not needing willpower. Yeah, no problem, bro. Boy, I have a lot of stuff to say. Don't read yeah. I'll try not to. There's a lot of people today, so it's very distracting for sure. Okay, let's get focused. This guy was right. So you're brainwashed, and you're brainwashed to think that there are positives to porn. Someone mentioned a question before that he thinks that he feels after a week, he feels like fear missing out or that he's losing out. And actually, that's what a lot of people talk about. They're losing out or that they feel like they're missing out. And so there are no positives to porn. That's what I want to get into. And society, whatever, mainstream media, whatever you want to call it, they push this narrative. They push this narrative that there are positives. Oh, it releases stress. Oh, it's okay. And so subconsciously, you think that there are benefits. You think that you're missing out. And that's what, even if you don't think this is true, you think, oh, I'm very addicted, whatever. Somewhere in there, you think that if you quit porn, you're going to miss out on something. I'm here to tell you that there is nothing that you can miss out on. And that's what the easy peasy method talks about. People say, that it's physically hard to quit. There are withdrawals to porn. I'm not saying there aren't. But the reason that NoFap is so hard, the reason that quitting porn is so hard is because of all this brainwashing that's telling us, oh, we're missing out on something. We're missing out on this, we're missing out on that. And so the first thing that I want you to do is to understand why you don't need NoFap streaks. And so the reason that you fail is because you see NoFap as a sacrifice. And so let's think about streaks. So streaks are a form of saying, oh, I quit for 100 days. Good job. Hey guys, look at me. I'm cool because I quit something. But you have to understand that saying good job for quitting something is saying that you missed out on something. It's basically saying that you quit something that you're missing out on. Boy, so don't count the days. I can't stress this enough. Because the second that you count the days, it's always going to be on your mind. You want to make NoFap a lifestyle. What people do is that they also reward themselves. And so the second that they're on streak 100 or 150 and they have that urge to fap, whatever, then they might be like, oh, you know what? I can actually reward myself. I can actually reward myself because the second I'm on 150, you know what? Like, I've been doing this for a while and I could reward myself now. And why do you think so many people relapse? So, literally, the biggest thing about the easy peasy method is that you're brainwashed. And if you think this is not enough to get you to quit, then I don't know what to tell you, but it literally stresses the amount of willpower that you need is almost pretty minimal because the second that you know that there's zero benefits to porn and you're not missing on anything, that's the second that you can decide that I'm quitting right now. And so, boys, if you're listening to this conversation and you've recently fapped or you haven't done it or you've done it like the last month too, then I want you to say to yourself right now that the last time that you fapped is the last time. See it as like a lifestyle. I know someone just mentioned on the chat, like, oh, how do I track my progress then? Boys, like, I don't even think about this stuff. Like, I know it seems odd, whatever. But the goal is to not even think about it. You don't even have to think about it. You understand? The second you count your streak is the second you keep on thinking about it. And so say to yourself, today is the last time I fapped, or last week is the last time I fapped. Boys, even write it right now in the chat to have it so it's up there, so you could literally see a week later that you've listened to yourself, that you didn't lie to yourself. Boys, don't lie to yourself. The second you decide is the last time you're going to do it. I know, like, you think it's like the hardest thing to do, and I understand that it is hard, but this method literally stresses that it's not as hard the second you know you're brainwashed. You don't need willpower as much as you think. Yeah, you can meditate a lot, you can increase your willpower, but you have everything you need to quit. The second you know that there's zero benefits. Like, boys, zero. Anyone that says there's an advantage of it, like, is gonna get kicked from this chat. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, bro, there's zero advantages. So not only are you saying right now that X time is the last time that I will quit or that I will watch porn. Sorry. I also want you to be grateful for that. So I want you to be grateful that you decided to quit, right? Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad like you're missing something. Don't feel bad like, don't feel FOMO. And the biggest method or the biggest kind of thing I want to tell you now is that don't even peek. So don't even look at whatever Instagram models. Unfollow all your Instagram models right now. Like, you don't need that shit. Boys, think about like this, right? You're literally like simping over her. You're never gonna meet her ever. You're literally never gonna meet her. So what's the point of like seeing an Instagram model like every day? You're not gonna meet her. And the second you see her picture, like immediately your brain's gonna be like, oh, I probably can't even get her. So don't even peek. So step one, right, is decide you're never gonna quit. Or sorry, step one is decide that's not the way I wanted it. Step one is you decide you're never gonna watch porn. Step two is you're gonna be grateful for that. You're grateful that you decided to quit because you know there's nothing that I'm gonna lose. And step three is you're not gonna peek again. You're not gonna look at models because you have to understand that no matter how I will quit if more sends nudes. No matter how much you think you could quit, the second that you see an Instagram model, or the second you see like anything that is gonna remind your brain of porn, it's gonna be harder. So yes, I told you you could quit. Like you have everything right now to quit, but make it easy for yourself. Like unfollow all these models. You don't need any of these things because also it's coming from a place where you're below them, right? The second you see them, I said you're gonna be like, oh, I probably can't get her. Otherwise, you probably get her. Otherwise, you probably DM her and she'll DM you back. But you know it's not gonna happen. Like stop shitting yourself. So say to yourself right now that there's nothing to give up. That is the biggest thing about the easy peasy method. Yes, there's more to it. I definitely advise you guys to read it. But the biggest thing is, you're quitting, so you decide that there's nothing to give up because there isn't. You're not giving up on anything. You're basically free the second that you decide to stop. You don't need to wait a month. You don't need to wait 10 years. You don't need to wait for your brain chemistry to change. That's what it talks about. That's what this method talks about. And I believe in it. You have everything in your willpower and you have everything right now, like in the present moment to quit. And you're free right now. Like you're free because you're not going to do it again. You decided not to do it again. You literally don't need any tools. Like you don't need some like magic cure. Like you thought I'm going to tell you, oh, do this trick, do that. Like, yeah, it could help. But you have to understand that this present moment, you have everything that you need. The second that you know there's zero advantages. How do you convince your brain you're not missing out? You convince your brain, yeah, it's in the easy peasy method, but you convince your brain you're not missing out the second you understand there's no benefits. How could you fear missing out if there are literally no benefits? And even worse, there's all the disadvantages I told you about. I know this sounds like stupid and you think like, oh, is that it? But bro, like I'm telling you, that's all like you have everything in your power. Imagine you had the alternative mindset, right? Of, oh, I actually don't have everything in my power to quit. You're like, oh, I need a magic cure, or I need this, or maybe I'll get therapy, or that. That's such a, like a bad mindset. You need to have the mindset that right now I have everything to quit. I have everything I need to quit. So definitely look and read Easy Peasy Method because we don't have time to go over everything. I'm just touching a little bit about it. But you have everything right now in your power. Because otherwise, I told you, you're coming from a bad perspective. Like, oh, I need like a month to quit. I'll do it next year because I don't have the tools. Bro, you're not magically gonna get like a tool to quit. Like, yeah, you can meditate a lot. It's gonna help you. Like, boys, meditate if you don't. It's gonna increase your willpower, etc. But at a certain point, you have to be like, oh, I have everything in my tools to quit. And yes, I'm gonna touch upon things to help you do that, but I just want to make sure that you understand that you have everything in your power right now. Boys, I'm dropping knowledge. We're not even done. We're not even close to done with the quitting method. or the quitting section. Another thing I want to make sure you guys understand is the power of visualization in respect to porn. So no one talks about doing this, but you probably heard of visualization. I think Hamza has a video on it, so feel free to watch that as well. No, don't visualize porn. So you need to change your self-image. You have right now, if you're addicted, you have a self-image of the fapper, or the guy who faps, or the guy who can't get women because he needs women on a screen. And so what do you think you're going to do if your self-image is of a guy that faps? You're going to fap, right? Like, if my self-image is of a guy who faps, I'm going to probably fap. It aligns with your self-image, and you're going to do things that align with your self-image. So you need to start visualizing yourself as a person that doesn't fap. No one tells you this advice, and this is the advice that you need to do. You need to literally imagine yourself getting that urge and literally visualize being like, no, like, there's like no benefits. Like, why the fuck would I do this? No, I'm going back to working out, or I'm going back to this. Change your self-image first, because you see yourself as a fapper, and you have to change that immediately. So what I recommend is psycho-cybernetics as a resource. There's actually one page or 2 pages in the book that talk about what you need to practically do to visualize. And, you know, the book is called Psycho-Cybernetics. So the no BS guide to visualizing is lay down, you know, breathe a few times, make sure you relax and you breathe. So you get yourself in that state, and close your eyes, obviously. Set up like a timer for 10 minutes. That's what I do. Visualize and feel. Like, you have to feel. You have to be in the end goal. So the end goal is not fapping, or the end goal could be seeing an urge or feeling an urge and being like, bro, I don't need this shit. So do that, and you're gonna visualize yourself every day. Like, do it until you quit. It's gonna come really fast, because the second that you change your self-image, the second that your actions are gonna align with it. So it's really not difficult, bro. Visualize yourself as the person. Visualize yourself as Adonis, the guy who doesn't fap. So again, I hope you had that to one of your habits. But definitely look at psycho-cybernetics. I'm pretty sure around page 70, they talk about how to actually visualize. But it's basically that you lay down, you relax, you breathe a few times, make sure your body's relaxed, and you feel the end goal. So the end goal could be, I'm not gonna fap. I'm not the fapper. Or like a certain event. So an event like, you get the urge, like I said. That's that. Another thing that I want to mention is the environment that you're in, right? Because if at night you don't set your environment to, so let me reiterate, right? You have to think when you fap. So most people fap at night when they're about to go to sleep. So if that's true for you, you have to make sure you set up your environment to actually benefit that and not fap at night. So what can you do? You could put your phone on airplane mode an hour before you sleep, or put it in another room. I know First Man talked about this in his last video. So put it in another room. at night. What I personally do for social media, etc., to make sure I don't watch YouTube at night is I put my phone in another room like an hour before I go to sleep. So let's say I'm going to sleep at 10:30. At 9:30, I'm going to put it in another room. Close it. Put it on the other side of the room maybe. And yeah, don't set your environment up for success. Like I know people talk about a lot about willpower. Put it in front of you. Like I understand that. I have videos on that on my channel. But if you're really struggling, you need to make sure your environment is on your side. It needs to be on your favor. You understand, boys? So another thing that I want you guys to do. These are all tips to quit, but this one is talking about delayed gratification. So I like the reason that you're fapping is because your day is filled with other things that are not delayed gratification tasks. Think about it like this, right? The more you add delayed gratification activities in your day, the less likely you are to watch porn. The more you schedule it in, the less likely. So literally what I want you to do is have a timetable. Like I can't stress this enough. Have a timetable. Every single hour of the day should be filled up. So 9 to 10, I'm going to do this. 10 to 11, doing that. That way, you're not going to fall to these habits. Everything is planned. Why would I watch porn if at 10 p.m. I need to meditate? You understand? So replace your day with delayed gratification activities. 1 hour of working out, like going to the gym, means that hour, there's no chance of you watching porn. Think of it like that. And so imagine doing that the whole day. Imagine your whole day is planned, your whole day is scheduled with delayed gratification activities. Then how could you fap? Like, I know this sounds easier than you think it is, but if you schedule every minute, and you're like, I'm not going to lie to myself. I decided that this is what I'm going to do today. And so momentum is going to pick up, right? You're going to start the day. You're going to work out. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. Momentum is going to pick up. And you're just going to keep doing those delayed gratification activities, like meditating, like working out, journaling, gratitude journaling. All these stuff are things that you should add. Also, get outside more, boys. I can't stress this enough. There's been studies saying how the more time you spend outside, the more gray matter you have. I mentioned that gray matter is good for you. So get outside more, boys. And I'm telling you, like, our generation is not outside enough. We need to be outside. We need to work out outside. We need to run outside. We need to be more outside, like our tribes or generation before us were doing in the past. I literally have a video on that on my channel. So if you're interested, just spend time in nature, go on walks, and whenever you go on walks, stop putting your headphones, stop listening to music, stop distracting yourself from the present moment. I know it's hard, especially when you're addicted to porn and all these things, because you need enough dopamine to keep you, interested in life. But the second that you go on this dopamine fast, the second that you can finally appreciate things like a walk, appreciate the nature, and I'm telling you, it's gonna feel amazing. Like imagine walking outside and being like, "Damn, I appreciate these like leaves falling out, or this tree, or this grass." So replace all your day with delayed gratification activities. It's easier said than done, but 99% of you are not going to do it. 99% are going to be like, okay, so I'm not gonna make my timetable like this is good advice. I'm gonna waste my time and I'm not gonna take practical action. Boys, if you're listening to this right now, like if you're listening to my voice, I want you to, after this lecture, sit down. Like, don't waste your time. Sit down and make a timetable for today if you haven't had one, for tomorrow, for every day. And, don't have any excuses. Like, some people say, I have school, I have different classes every day. Make a timetable for every day in that case. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Like, you have no excuse. Do you understand? Yeah, you could definitely do a Google Calendar. Boys, you have no excuse to not make a timetable. I can't stress this enough. Do it after this lecture. That's one of the practical steps I want you to do. Because the second that your day is filled with delayed gratification, the less likely you are to FAP. Try your best to adhere to a timetable. And I know it's hard, but think about it like this. If you adhere to it 10%, then that's much better than zero. Before you didn't even have a timetable, but now you're adhering to it like 10, 20%. So have that mindset, right? It's not going to be perfect. You're going to miss things. You're going to do that. But you need a timetable to adhere to. You need a routine. Many people think that having a timetable in a routine is going to restrict them. Bro, what the fuck? Like, people actually think that having a timetable is going to restrict their lives. Like, I hear excuses being people saying, like, oh, because I scheduled my day in, then I'm going to have less free time to do the things I want, or I'm going to be less spontaneous. Bro, you can be spontaneous. Like, it doesn't mean you can't be, but you need something to adhere to. What do you think they do in the military? Do you think they're just like, oh, whatever, like wake up at 11 FAP and then go to the gym whenever you feel like it? No. People who are disciplined have a timetable. And I'm going to keep on reiterating this until you make one, because you're a pussy if you don't make one after this lecture. You understand? I can show you mine in one of my videos, so stay tuned, boys. And thank you everyone for sending their habit or their timetables. It's a very good thing to look at. You guys could look at people's habit trackers, be inspired. Make sure you have, working out, meditation, reading, journaling, gratitude journaling, all these habits. So yeah, that's that. I took a long time there because I'm really stressing this, and it's not talked a lot about. That literally could be the cure to your fapping. Because if you say, "Oh, I'm gonna put my phone there. I'm gonna be in bed by 9:30," then how could you like jump off in the middle of the night and like go fap? Like, bro, you're setting your environment, you're setting your life up to not fap. You understand? So don't only rely on willpower. Like, you need these kind of things. Like, you need a good environment to set up. You need a schedule to help you. Okay. I hope I got that in pretty well. So that's my kind of homework for you guys. The second this is done, you're gonna literally make a timetable. All right, boys. So another kind of way to quit is have the mindset that semen is basically your life force, right? The second that you understand that, your semen could obviously create life. It could, you can literally have babies with it. I know that sounds funny, but your your semen has, or ejaculating, right? The act of ejaculating releases energy. So save your life force. Save that energy. Put in something else. Put into your business. Put in a routine. Put in a timetable that you're gonna adhere to. Having a long-term relationship, that's perfectly fine. 100% fine. But if you're not in a relationship, then save that. Be on semen retention. You understand? You have no excuse. You have two options. You're in a long-term relationship with a high-quality woman, and yeah, you're gonna have sex. That's good. That's something you should do. Or you're single right now and you're listening to this. Not a bad thing, but you're gonna choose to save that semen. Be on semen retention. I think that's gonna help you a lot. It's gonna help give you that energy to put in your business, to put in your passion. You don't understand the value of keeping that life force in. It literally is your life force energy. I hope you understand that. It has so much more energy than you think. And so put in something else. Try to sexually transmutate that energy, put in your business, your passion. So I want to talk to you a little bit more about what you do when you have an urge, because it's going to happen, especially in, so you decide to quit, right? And you're serious about it. All the people that mentioned before, I'm quitting, they're on the chat. Like, don't bullshit yourself. You're quitting. Like, that's it. So you have to understand that you might have some urges in the next coming days, the next coming weeks, and it's going to be tough. And, it's normal. People have withdrawal symptoms. It's a normal thing with addictions. Obviously, it's not going to be like cocaine's withdrawal symptoms, like physical pain, but it's going to be, to a certain extent, it's going to be pretty hard, pretty difficult. And so, what do you do when you experience these difficult times? So, yeah, I'm going to touch on your point. Someone said, "What do I do when I wake up with urges?" So, don't negotiate that urge. Most people have it wrong. They fight it. They're like, "Why am I feeling this? Why am I feeling this urge right now? Like, I should probably be sleeping." Or why this again? Like, it's annoying. Like, I don't want this urge right now. I want to like meditate or something. It's not about fighting or resisting it. All I want you to do, literally all I want you to do, is to hold your phone. You're about to reach your phone. You're about to like do the act. So stop right there. Hold your phone, breathe. Be present with the urge. That's the biggest thing that I want you to get down. Literally breathe. Like, take a couple breaths. Be present. Like, feel the intensity. Feel the intensity of how much you want to just do it. And it's just gonna dip. Like, it's gonna go in like couple seconds. Like, I know this sounds like, oh, it's too good to be true, but you've probably not been present with your urge. Like, you're probably just like, oh, resisting it, telling yourself, no, I shouldn't do it. Like, why this urge again? Bro, literally just be present with the urge. Don't resist it. It's normal. Like, you just decide you're gonna quit. So obviously you're gonna have an urge. Your brain literally changed, as we said. It's plastic, it's malleable, it changed. And you need to slowly change it back. And so don't resist the urges. People tell you all these quick fixes, like the second you have an urge, you need to do 100 push-ups. The second you have an urge, you need to go outside, call your dude. I literally saw a video like researching this. Someone was like, go outside, call your mom, go on a walk. Like, yeah, it's gonna work, but how practical is that? Like, it probably might work, right? You're getting outside, whatever. But it's easier said than done. Most of my lecture is about, like, today, all I'm saying is that you don't need a quick fix. You don't need a magical cure. You have everything in your power to quit. You have everything in the present moment to quit. You understand? You don't need like a magical. You don't need me to say like you don't need me to say something magical right now, and then you'll be like, "Wow, like that was amazing. I'm gonna quit now." Like that magical thing is never gonna happen. Stop watching all these videos on how to stop watching porn, thinking that someone's gonna say a magical thing. Someone's gonna be like, "You have to do 100 push-ups and then go outside and then climb on a tree and touch grass." Like, yeah, it might help, but like you have everything in your power right now to quit. And part of that is being present. Someone said I stopped using my phone at night and I fixed my urges. That's basically what I'm saying before about setting up your environment. So yes, rely on your environment. Make sure that you, for example, FAP at X time. So what are you going to do? You're going to make sure that your environment is set up not to do it there at that time. It's the urges are going to come. I told you. You're going to breathe into it, you're going to feel it, and it's just going to go. Don't run away from the urge. Be with it. Have this mentality that it can't hurt you. Like, it's not going to hurt you. It's not going to do anything to you. People think it's like the end of the world. Like, oh, I feel the pain. I have to do it. Like, I have to do it now. You understand? Be with it. And slowly, as you allow that urge to be, the frequency is going to go down. You're going to have less urges. You're going to start forgetting about it. You're not counting your days, right? So you're going to start forgetting about it. Think about it like this. I think part of the whole NoFap community is that it's a little bit toxic in the way that they want you to be on that community. They want you to stick there. Otherwise, they're not going to make money off of you. Like if you stop watching these videos or stop watching or whatever, reading in the subreddit on NoFap, they're going to lose you. They don't want to lose you. They want more people. So part of it is very toxic, I have to say. Like you think it's all fun and games and amazing. Like, damn, I love you guys. You're my buddies. We're all on the same path, not the fap. Like, yeah, someone said no fap is somehow an addiction. Like, the literal movement could be addicting. So you got to watch out for that. Like, you don't need that community. You don't need. You have everything in your power right now to quit. So that's basically the biggest kind of motto that I'm gonna keep repeating. But that's the biggest thing. You don't need a community. You don't need an external kind of video, or you don't need to watch any more videos on this. Make this the last time you're gonna listen to something like this, because you don't need anything else. Like next time you see yourself watching like a video on like NoFap, whatever, it's probably a waste of time. Like I literally dropped whatever you need. Like there isn't anything more magical than that. Like that's all you need, and you just have to apply it. Like whatever you need to do, rewatch this lecture, write notes on it, do whatever you can. But I literally told you everything you need to do. You understand? The last thing I want you to kind of have is that have a why. Why are you quitting? Why did you decide to quit? So do it right now. Type in the chat. Don't be afraid. Type why you want to quit it. Have a why, and it's going to make it much easier to quit. Some great points, boys. Boys, the next time you journal, the next time, even after this lecture, right? This is your homework number 2. Number 1 was go and make a timetable. Number 2 is after this lecture, like you're not going to waste time. After this lecture, you're going to open your journal and you're going to be like, that's it. That was the last time I'm going to quit, or the last time I'm going to watch. And put your why on paper. So whatever you wrote in the chat right now, put your why on paper. So that's it. I'm free from watching it. But now, the reason I'm doing this is because of X. So people are more likely they did studies on this. People are more likely to quit an addiction if they know their why. Like, why would I quit if I don't know my why? Your why could be you want to be a 1% man. You want to be that person who not only sees an Instagram model, whatever, but who dates her. Stop being the person who's looking up to all these people. Like, oh, I wish I could have her. I wish she could be in my life. That's such a bad mindset. Have the mindset that you want to be a 1% man. Use that masculine energy, save it, and put it into something else. Put it in your business, put it in your life, put it in your self-improvement, meditate, journal, go outside, run. Boys, just take action. That's all I stress here. Just take action. Just show up. Most of the losers watching porn, and this is not to bash anyone, but you are a loser if you watch porn. Like, I don't want to be, I told you immediately, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. You're a loser. And have some sense of respect for yourself. Like, literally respect yourself that you're not going to do it. You understand? Yes, and meditate. I can't stress that enough. Like, it's going to change your mind and your life. And I talk a lot about how you need to meditate more than you think you do. So if you meditate 5 minutes, try to double that. I offended you. Boys, I think that's a good place to start, right? Like, if I offended you, that means you need to take some action. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I told you I'm not going to sugarcoat this lecture. Have some sense of respect for yourself because now you have everything you need. Okay, maybe before you had no clue. So I'm not going to blame you, right? But now, if you keep doing it, you have no respect for yourself. You're literally listening to a lecture on someone talking about it, giving you every single piece of advice, telling you 2 things to do. 1 is timetable, and 2 is to journal about this. And then you're going to go do it. I don't respect you if you're going to do it after this. Like, think of me the next time you're about to do it. You understand? Be like, or told me this. Yeah, this lecture is pointless if you don't take action. This is not just to like make you feel good, you know. Thomas, on my YouTube channel, you're gonna find my videos. Don't worry, it'll be private. It'll be a private video just for you. Ah, come on, Jeffrey Zudin. Yeah, so thank you, just Dave. Boys, that's your to do for today. After this video or after this lecture, you're gonna take those 2 pieces of action. You're gonna make a timetable, like I told you, and you're gonna journal literally saying, I quit. That was the last time I'm gonna do it. I have everything in my power to do it. I don't need any magical cure. I don't need to talk to my therapist. And that's it. Like, have your why. I'm doing this because I want to be a 1% man. I want to do this because I want to date that girl. I don't want to just see her on the screen. Put that energy into something else. I literally hope that you boys can get to a certain point where you don't even think about porn. You don't even think about it. It's not even a thing. It's a lifestyle of not doing. It's a lifestyle of not doing it. You understand? How you recommend people to find their ways? They're wise. Oh, they're wise. Okay, okay. I think you can all start with being a 1% man. You can journal about it, but you have everything in your power right now. And I'm pretty sure 100% of you want to be that 1% man, right? You all want to be that guy who isn't the person who watches, but the person who engages, who actually, has sex. So that's where we want you to be. We don't want you to watch, we want you to do. What would Adonis do? Would Adonis watch? Would James Bond watch? Like, think of all these masculine men. Like, are they gonna like watch? Be the main character in your life. Yeah, someone said that. That's really great advice. Be the main character in your life. That's so big. James Bond is an addict. Yeah, you can't imagine that guy like watching porn, right? Like, it's not gonna happen. So always think of these people. You might have another person in mind. Maybe it's Hamza. You understand? It could be anyone, your idol. Would they do it? Would this masculine man do it? Most likely the answer is no. So I'm looking for a chat again. Give me 1 second. So again, thank you, just Dave, for your comment. But I'm gonna keep stressing this, guys. Make a timetable before I go, and journal your why and the fact that you're done. You're done with porn for life. You have everything in your power. I know it's very repetitive, but that's the only point. That's the only way that you can get in your brain. I have to keep repeating and iterating because everything is in your power in the present moment. Don't look for anything external. It's not gonna be any better a month from now unless you decide to quit now in the present moment. You understand? Quit before you help other people. You understand? Some people ask before, how should I help my friends? Yeah, but if you've watched porn in the last couple months, like, you shouldn't even help your friends. Don't even bother. You have a problem of your own. You understand? You have a problem, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. You need to handle that problem, and you have everything in your power. Because the second you decide and understand that you have a why and you have no reason to do it, like, there's no benefits, bro, zero benefits. Not even are there zero benefits. There's an insane amount of disadvantages. Your brain is literally gonna change itself. It's gonna mold to a dumber brain. Like, you're gonna be dumber. You understand? The timetable part was just make a timetable for your whole day. Every hour of your day should be scheduled. You understand? All right, boys. Any questions? Serious questions only. Where can I find the recording? It'll be on my YouTube channel. Does NoFap increase? What do you do if you fail to follow your timetable? And then I'll answer Ronan's question. Just be grateful that you even had one in the first place. Most of the people don't even have one. Like, how many people do you know in your life that have a timetable? So the reason, what I'm trying to say is that be grateful that you even made one and you're trying to adhere to it. Stop like being so hard on yourself. I even like don't follow my timetable from time to time. It's not easy, but you just try to do even 1%, even 10%, 20, 30. One is better than none. You understand? So have that mindset. Be grateful that you even have one, because your average Jeffrey doesn't even have a timetable. Do you think masturbation should be eliminated? Um, I think so. I think you should really stay on semen retention if you don't have a significant other. You have two options: semen retention or, being in a long-term relationship, have sex with a woman, high quality woman. That's the only two options I see. You can argue otherwise. You could be like, oh, I want to just sleep around with women. I don't advise that. I don't think that's something a man should do. But yeah, you have two options. So I think you should eliminate masturbation. It's not easy. You could progressively deload. Many people talk about doing that. I know Hamza talks about it. So you're masturbate or you're watching porn now. Go down and watch or don't watch, right? Just masturbate with your thoughts and your imagination, and then slowly just make your way down. That's also a good kind of trick or thing you could do if you're struggling to quit cold turkey, right? So you could just progressively deload. Hmm. Is tracking your NoFap on a habit tracker bad? I wouldn't say it's particularly bad, but it ties into what we said before, right? You're always thinking about it. I don't even think about it. And the reason and the fact that you don't think about it makes it easier, right? You don't think about it, so it's much easier to forget about it. And it's a lifestyle, you're not even going to do it. So if it helps you, you could probably do it. I advise not to. Though. How did you gain all this knowledge? I literally read a lot, boys. I did a lot of research for you. Part of it is just understanding um what it does to you, and I'm passionate about teaching this to help you boys. There's a lot of people here that need it, and so I'm passionate. You could probably hear in my voice how like I'm into this because I want to help you guys. I don't want you guys to be struggling with this, the next generation. That's part of the reason that I made a self-improvement channel, because I want to spread my message and the things I learned to other people. Let's see more questions. What's the best piece of determination you can give everyone to be better? What do you mean by determination? Like best piece of advice? If someone can't stay on NoFap, should they fap less with porn? That's kind of what I said. Like if it's hard for you to quit cold turkey, I said you have the power to quit cold turkey. Like I told you have the power. If you're really struggling, you could progressively deload and just do it instead of 5 times a day, twice or once a week. You understand? Just progressively deload. From who do you know this well? As I said, your brain on porn is a big thing that I learned from. Really recommend that book. And just personal accounts, personal knowledge, learning, improving, you know the drill. If you happen to fail and watch porn, what is the best way in your eyes to get back? I think the biggest thing is don't beat yourself up. Jeremy? Like, don't beat yourself up. It happens. But straight up go to your journal right after and be like, I'm not doing that shit. Like, I have my why. Keep reiterating your why. Like, be like, I want to be that 1% man. Like, if I do this, I'm not going to be a 1% man. Someone said, "How long have you been?" Like years, bro. Like I don't even count. I told you it's a lifestyle. You don't even think about it anymore. I wish you guys the best. Like I wish you guys to be in that kind of mindset. I know you're gonna get there. You just need like time away from it. You need time away from porn. I'm not gonna lie. I really, guys, I recommend you guys to watch my lecture on digital minimalism because you probably have a internet addiction as well. So another way to help you with that is to also cure your internet addiction, your phone addiction. That's going to help you. Where do you live? I live in the United States in New Jersey. I'm still reading catching up on your questions. Yeah, New Jersey. Close to the city, to New York City, boys. Oh, yeah? Well, hit me up. Hit me up if you're from Jersey. Hit me up, boys. I'm gonna do a Adonis meetup. Just DM me if if you're close to me. I'm in Hoboken, New Jersey. Pull up, bro. Pull up. But yeah, DM me if you're from the area. Definitely want to meet more people. But boys, once again, I hope this helped. We're not really gonna talk. I need to dip, so we're not really gonna have people talk. This was a 2-hour long lecture, but I hope this helped you. You have everything in your knowledge in your power right now. And boys, just watch this again if you need. But if you felt like you got some value from me, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have a self-improvement channel. I'm going to link it right now. Boys, I have an insane amount of value that I'm dropping. So make sure to subscribe. And yeah, boys, I hope this helped a lot. To anyone who recorded the lecture, please DM me after. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for listening in. Go do that homework that I told you. I told you 2 things to do. And you're a pussy if you don't do this after. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, I don't need to do it. Like, don't give me excuses. You're gonna do it after this. You're dropping off right now. Go fucking do it, bro. Thank you everyone for the comments. I hope this helped. Once again, peace.